Welcome to Difficult Conversation Africa broadcast. I present to you the host, Yinka Olaito.
We live in an age where visibility counts. In today's hyper-competitive and attention-driven economy, visibility has become one of the most valuable business assets, even though many do not know. Beyond product quality or service excellence, organizations and individuals that are seen, heard, and trusted are more likely to attract customer, investors, partners, and policy influence. Visibility is currency, the business case for being seen. Explore how strategic visibility drives profitability, credibility, and long-term relevance. This episode unpack why silence is costly in a digital first world, how visibility shapes public perception, and why brands that fail to sell their story often lose market share even when they are doing great work. From corporate brand and startup to nonprofit and social impact organization, this conversation examines the essence of visibility as an investment, not really about vanity. It's also look at the African context where business must navigate a crowded market, evolving media strategy, and trust deficit, making intentional visibility a growth strategy. Today, I have a strategic communication who is going to be my guest. Her name is Chioma Ezenwafor. She's currently the founder of Sotrive Media, a strategic communication and media consulting firm based in Port Harcourt. She's a media and communication strategist with over a decade of experience advising media, business, and civic organizations across journalism and media leadership. She's a former news manager at Nigeria Info, Cool FM Wasobia radio station, an award-winning journalist. She worked at the intersection of media strategy, innovation, and audience trust. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Chioma Ezenwafor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for the work we do. Thank you for what you have been doing. Thank you because we've known you for quite a long year, and you kept improving on your skill. That's something commendable. I'm so happy that you are now you've decided to kickstart a company on your own after years of working with radio station and communication. I'm also proud that you are a PhD student presently studying for your doctorate degree. These are some of the things that attracted us to us, or you to us. So let's go to the issue of the day, where we're talking about visibility is currency, the business case for being seen. Now, the first question I want to ask you is, when we say visibility is currency, what does that mean in practical business terms, not just branding buzzword?
Hmm. Visibility is a word that became very popular by COVID-19, 2020, when the whole shutdown happened and a lot of people were forced to be at home. That's usually where I like to track the word. Not that it didn't exist ever since. I mean, because we have the mainstream media, people have always known that they have to be on radio or TV to to be visible. But the game changed around that time, and people became SMEs, for instance, who were usually so zoomed into trying to sell, started realizing that they could do stuff on their own, they could use their own platform. So a lot of businesses were doing it. But I didn't see a lot of organizations like NGOs showing that part. For SMEs, especially because they're having coaches, business coaches who were now answering visibility coaches. But the problem with what was going on was the information that was going with it. Visibility was meant to be about dancing on social media or doing something really seriously, or something that was just not aligned with, people forgot about brand tone, brand identity, your brand message. You didn't consider all of that. So you see someone whose brand identity or tone or message has nothing to do with being an entertainer or being crazy or being a Portable, the singer Portable or Pella, being any of that craziness. There's nothing wrong with that craziness, but it's not for every brand, right? But we saw a lot of that happening, and people were really shocked. Yeah, it got the attention, but we also had to quickly learn, especially by last year, that visibility is not noise. So I want to start from there. So when we say visibility is currency, what we mean in practical business sense is that you're positioning your business for where decisions are being taken. So the next
Okay.
time you think of a strategic communication expert, are you going to think of me or are you going to think of my colleagues? Are you going to think of me or are you going to think of my colleagues? Are you going to think of maybe one brand? Okay. And that's a very, really important thing that businesses are missing. Now, we have a lot of businesses that are picking up, that are understanding, because now they work with strategic communication experts like us. And so they are able to look at their visibility on a wholesome note. So when we say visibility is currency, you know how currency works, and is not really about, when currency works, it works. People recognize it because of its value. That's how visibility is as well. Visibility works that way. So yeah, visibility is great, but when you're visible and people do not see, you're not clear. People cannot say, oh, you're like, I know someone that she was on social media, but she's known as a comedian. She's known as a skit maker. You don't know that the real reason she came on social media was to sell a totally different product, like, her knitting and stuff. So I don't know her numbers and how much of those she's been able to sell, but I sure do know that there was a career shift, by the reason of her doing all of those skits and all
Skilled.
that. So she's gotten a lot of visibility, but she didn't end up getting the visibility for what she wanted it for. So one thing that's happening in 2026 is that brands are realizing, especially because of AI. I'm going to explain that much later because it's a huge part of what we do. But for your question, it simply means that businesses are able to position themselves where decisions are being made. So when people are thinking of what you do, are you putting yourself where they are going to search for what you do? A lot of people traveled in December, right? Some of them went back home. Some of them haven't gone back in a year. So they had like really dusty rooms and dusty, compounds. So they needed cleaning services. So when they picked up their phones and they didn't know where to go and they Googled, or they asked Instagram, or they asked TikTok, cleaning companies in Ogun State or cleaning companies in Anambra State, did did your business pop up, or it wasn't even on the list? So that's just a simple way to look at it. So when you say visibility is currency, that's really what it means. That you understand where to position and how to position your business to be seen by the people that need it. Not everybody
That's
will
really,
go.
yeah. That's really fantastic. We'll get in some of the issues that you raised. So feasibility does not actually mean gaining traction. What is the value of that traction is more important than just being seen. So it can be a currency. It can also be something that affects you negatively. So how does feasibility directly impact profitability, growth, and market competitiveness? Can you show a clear link between all of this?
In every way. If we start with being clear, before you go to be visible, you're clear on your message, you're clear on the person you're trying to send the message to, you're clear on the action you want them to take. Let's start with these three. What automatically happens is that when you finally make yourself seen, let me use startups who have taken the time to use data to build a product for a particular kind of people. And then they decide to invest in a visibility strategy. The ability to do that and get seen. Let me use MoneyPoint. When MoneyPoint came on board, being able to understand that it was not about, it's much later. that you saw them be on YouTube and be on, but really they knew where the market was, that it was in the market, literally the local market. Okay. And they took a lot of time and they did the work that needed them to be visible enough for the people that needed to see them first and use them. So today I've made like 3 transactions. And for each time I asked the business owner, where do I send your money to? One name kept coming up, Money Point. So what happened to all these other people? Are they not visible enough? So visibility is when you are clear. People know that when you want your money to know they solved the key problem and they communicated it clearly, which is that if you want your alerts to show immediately, use Money Points. And that wasn't just what they did. They made sure that when people experienced that was exactly that what they were communicating is what people were also experiencing. And when that marriage happened, profitability was inevitable.
Thank you for that clarity. I think Money Point should come and pay us on this platform for the advert you are doing for them. Well, that's
I
just
hope,
by
I hope
the
it's
way.
okay. I hope
No,
it's
it's
okay. I
fine.
mean,
No, it's
yeah.
fine. It's fine. It's just to because you need to show case study of what you're saying. That's fine. I'm just by the way that, and I think that visibility should come and Money Point should come and patronize us. We are giving them a lot of mileage, but it's good that you clear that. Why do many strong organizations struggle to or fail simply because they are not visible enough? In your own experience as a strategic communication, what have you seen? What have you noticed? And what have you counseled your clients?
What I noticed is that a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations, established brands, they've been around for 13, 12 years, and they've done good work with maybe government agencies, and they've seen money. But and so, yes,
So they have profit.
so what happens
So
is,
they have
what
money.
happens to them? Exactly. What happens to them is that they think that, their work, their good work will
They
speak
are
for
doing
them.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they believe that they have a certain market, and they have a certain, they have sustained a certain number of clients, they have retained a certain number of clients, and those clients are okay for them. And so that's all they really need. Now, that works for them for a while until they have a crisis. I'm going to use that as an example because that kind of explains, this. Until they have a crisis, and then they realize that they do not have the buy-in of journalists, they do not have the buy-in of even the stakeholders, other stakeholders like the community people, and they do not have the buy-in of even other government agencies because they were so zoomed in on the ones they've been serving over the years. So many conditions that believe that good work speaks for them are now quickly realizing, and that's what I tell them, that you need to be visible. Okay, identify all your stakeholders and be visible to all of them. Your external people and your internal people. There's some people that are so disconnected from the people that work for them. They're so disconnected, like they don't even know the most basic thing about the people that work for them. That's for internal. Then for external, the breaking it down and understanding who your stakeholders are. Your stakeholders are not only those that patronize you. Your stakeholders are also people who you have to, your touch points, the people who you have to deal with, whether from your suppliers, to the people who you have stationed, where you have stationed your organization, the community. And in River State, you don't need anybody to explain it to you in River State because those ones don't want to be visible. They will make themselves visible. So you'll be forced to come out by force, right? But the truth is that businesses that are deliberate about that visibility for all their stakeholders, for instance, are the ones that struggle less with any other issue that comes up. So I'm saying it because you asked about my clients. And so what I'm experiencing is that they are now learning that, yes, I'm doing well, but I still need to be visible. And visibility is also about the way people perceive you. They need to perceive you right. They shouldn't see you as that organization that is just on that high horse, and then your gate is always looking like it's never open. But meanwhile, a lot of activities are going on inside there. People need to know. I have organizations that they've touched their community in a really mighty big way. But guess what? It's only the chiefs of the community that know. Ordinary people do not know what they've done for the community. So visibility for organizations is even more important because good work does not speak. It's people that speak for it. I've seen organizations that is the people going, no, don't touch them. Oh, they gave us water. They gave us light. They gave us this. No, you cannot do this to them. They will speak for you when crises arise. We're not praying for crisis, but I mean, these things happen. So visibility for the right people with the right people will turn them to your advocates. They will speak for you. Okay. I remember a situation of a tomato paste that someone had a bad experience about the tomato paste and then came online to put out this tomato paste and said, this tomato paste was just not what I expected. I'm disappointed. And the owner of that company didn't allow, I don't know. Yes. And that shows that he didn't have a communication plan. He didn't have any strategy at all for communication. Probably didn't even have a communication team. Because I believe that if he had a communication team, they would have advised him to step away and let's handle it. And there are so many ways that communication experts handle such things. Because honestly, what happened there was an opportunity. When you get a bad review, it's not village people. It's an opportunity. it's feedback. It's not your competitors coming at you. Even if it's your competitors coming at you, it is an opportunity for you to tell a better story about your brand. So, I mean, good work speaks. But these days, there's a lot going on the digital space, mainstream media, offline, everywhere is so noisy. There's so much going on. The attention span is so small. So good work only speaks when people speak for it.
Yeah, my takeout from that is that part of visibility is the ability of the to enjoy word of mouth instead of your own media positioning or pushing the idea to the people. Now, you at the tail end of your answer, you delve into digital tools, and therefore we're going to look at in today's digital economy, what happens to businesses that choose to remain quiet or invisible?
Okay, so I think it's become clear to a lot of businesses because if you are not visible and you decide to be silent, it's almost like you don't exist. When I was in the university, there used to be one of my favorite textbooks. I go to the library a lot those days, and I always my hands will always touch that textbook, and I'll always open it. And I'll always open that textbook. And one of the first things on that textbook is what I'm about to say, which is if an Iroko tree falls and nobody hears it, has it fallen? You know, so no matter how great your brand is and nobody knows about it, are you really going to meet your business goals? Because at the end of the day, we're all here to meet certain business goals, right? So if you're sincere about those business strategies and you're sitting down this January to put out business strategies without a communication expert on that table to talk visibility and infuse visibility into your business strategy, are you really sure that you are, genuine about the business goals you want to meet? Because there are a lot of business goals that naturally meet themselves. Let's say you plan to reach 10,000 people. You plan to reach 10,000 people, before the end of January. If that's your business goal and your plan is to go to, let's say, radio station, because reach is different. If you're trying to reach people, it's one thing to put yourself in a situation where you reach them, but can those same people reach you? Are they able to say that, oh, like, are you memorable? When you showed up, were you remembered? Because really, that's what visibility is about. Being seen, being heard, and being remembered. So some people are seen, but they are not remembered because they were not deliberate about, when they showed up. They were not deliberate. They didn't have stories to tell. They do not know about brand stories. So they've not crafted one. They do not know about, because it's stories that stick. If you do not have a story to tell, no matter how factual what you have to share is, people are going to forget. They won't remember because there's so much people are grappling with. So any business that decides to stay silent, yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay. I think there's a thin line between feasibility and credibility. And that's what I want you to actually clear the air on that. How can organization balance being feasible with being credible, especially in an era of misinformation and overexposure, like you have said?
Hmm. Yeah. If if you if you are visible and then you're saying that you do stuff and then you're visible, but you do not have credibility, you're not able to deliver what you said. It's just a matter of time. It's noise. Just a matter of time.
Mm.
People are going to find out. And at the end of the day, it's like the second leg of visibility. It's like the second leg of visibility. You need to be able to stand firm and stand long enough with those two legs. If you're visible and you're not credible, you're just noisy, and everyone's going to find out eventually that this one is just, you know how they say, empty vessel makes the loudest noise.
Louder noise.
You know. Then again, if you're credible and you're not visible, and you're there wondering, I see my restaurant, I sell the best food in the most hygienic spaces, and yet people don't come here. Why? I saw a viral video of, this okpa. Do you know okpa? There's
Yeah.
this pudding. So, and then they were all lined up. About 5 of them were all lined up. It's a viral video right now. About 5 of them were lined up. But it's only one person that there's a crowd coming to only one person.
Out of the 5.
And out of all of them were not selling. They were just there, seated, doing nothing. And each other person is being overwhelmed with sales. And it's not like there's a distance. Like the very next person's tray is just beside her own, and the very next person's tray is just beside her own, and the very next person, and they're all just beside each other. And yet the crowd is just with one person. What's happening there? Something is happening there, and it has a lot to do with credibility because all of them are visible. They're all playing on the same road, the same traffic. They're all exposed to the same traffic of people, leg traffic, people walking in. But yet people are choosing. And if you're even in the area for the first time and you see everybody going to that same person, are you really going to go to the person where nobody's going to? You're going to naturally want to please. There has to be a reason why everybody is.
Everybody's going somewhere. This place.
Exactly. So that's really what visibility is. So if you're credible, you must be very deliberate about your visibility.
Visibility plans. Okay.
Yes, so that it will not be a waste. That, because it takes a lot to be credible. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of testing.
Yeah. I think that credibility has to do with doing what you promised that you say you will do. Because if you get people at your door and then you are not delivering on your promises, that may impact your credibility, and over time you will lose the aura that you have gained. Okay, what role do storytelling, media engagement, and thought leadership play in building strategic visibility? I know you're a media person, you're a storyteller, strategic. So, in your own experience, do you think that storytelling, media engagement play a vital role in visibility, strategic visibility for individual and organization?
Visibility compounds. If you're visible today and you're visible tomorrow and you're visible, visibility compounds. But you see, stories are what helps people remember. I told you that to be seen, to be heard, and to be remembered. So you see the remembering part, that's where storytelling comes in. Storytelling is how people remember. Oh, that lady that told the story about how this. So even you now, there are certain people or certain brands that the only reason you remember them is the stories they are telling. Mama too good.
Exactly.
When I sing that song, you already know who I'm talking about.
You already know what brand is that.
Papilo. I know say one day you go make me proud. Once I say it, you already know the brand I'm talking about, right? So it's all storytelling is such a powerful tool. And I like that more and more businesses are using it. But whether they're using it in the right way is a different conversation. But I like that more and more people are understanding that they need these stories to be told. They need to tell their stories. You have the founder story, we have the brand story, we have so many stories. You know, someone once said that we haven't told 50% of the African story. And honestly, as a journalist, the African story lies in the business stories, the resilience, the grit, and the, what it takes to grow a business in Africa, in Nigeria, in River States, in Lagos. There's a lot of story there. And if you keep telling those stories, people are going to keep remembering you. Media is another part, is another tool. And the only time you need media, the mainstream media now, let me call it mainstream media, but of course, media also involves social media. All of it is how you scale, is how you scale. Remember, I said visibility is about being seen, it's about being heard, it's about being remembered. Storytelling helps people to be remembered. Media helps you to be seen. Then thought leadership helps you to be trusted. And that trust yes, and that trust compounds. And that's why I still shudder. I mean, one of the last things I did before I left mainstream media was to host business shows. And I used to always want to have business owners come on the radio to tell their stories. And it really would just shock me how some businesses will say no and have all kinds of excuses why they don't want to be. How can you say no to telling your stories? So that means a lot of people do not even understand yet why it's important that they continue to tell their stories and not tell it.
All right. Because of our time, let's go to this next question. For non-profit and causes, people used to think that it is not important, visibility is not important, strategic communication is not important, or that advocacy group and social enterprises, people will just come. Being a strategic communicator and who had worked with various organizations, including non-profits, how essential is visibility to them today, to their cause and their cause promotion and all of that. And maybe we should just join these together with it. From African perspective, what unique visibility challenges do business and organization face, and how can they overcome it?
Okay, now let's start with NGO. Actually, Software Media, my company, has existed for 7 years. I registered it in 2018. And the 5 out of those 7 years, while I was still doing a 9 to 5, was with NGOs. Okay, so that means I've been doing visibility for NGOs for at least 5 to 6 years. And one of the things that I will tell you is that a lot of the donors and donor agencies, that the reoccurring of those donations and the reoccurring of getting the right stakeholders to work with succeeded because of the NGOs that were visible, and the NGOs that documented their work, and the NGOs that could tell their stories and tell it right and tell it in the language of the people they are trying to reach. Okay, so it's very important because you're able to justify your funding. You're able to, so we tell it, I mean, these days, social media has been brought into it. So you can literally help people see through the lens of all the work that you've done. Before now, what NGOs do that is at the end of the project, they will invite you to come do a documentary for them for all that they've done. So you are relying on just the elements that they were able to produce. And some of them do not, exactly. So some of them do not have the right elements that you needed to tell a captivating story for them. Okay, but now they are learning more and more. The NGOs are learning that you bring in communication plan, you bring in visibility plan from the time of writing your proposal, not even after you have received money to start the project. From the time of writing your proposal, that's when you must think about visibility strategy and how you want to position yourself and the touch points you want to ease off on and the ones you want to carry along. And these things are important. And these days, I mean, there's something they call paid media. They have owned media. Okay. Yeah. And the other kinds of media. But the one that I believe that NGOs have refused to embrace a lot is owned media. I'm talking email. I'm talking your own social media platforms. And then even simple things like WhatsApp communities. They are not able to, yes, they used to put people in a WhatsApp group, but WhatsApp group and community are not the same. So the questions you have asked me is like, there's a lot to unpack. So I'm going to try my best to put it together. Okay. But one thing I want anyone that runs an NGO to take away from here is that you must be deliberate about your visibility strategy. It is in your visibility strategy that every other media work should lie on, so that you're speaking the same language across board. So that when it's time to present your work, whether it's in form of a post-evaluation report or anything, the timestamps are showing that you've been telling your story even before they gave you the money. So you don't have to change gear. You're already doing the same thing. You've been talking about children. You've been, your visibility strategy is very clear, and you don't have to fidget about anything because the elements are there. So we're asking you to give us a photo of where you went to visit the king of the community and you do not have it, or you have it, but it's blurry picture that looks, poorly taken. Because you didn't involve experts, or you didn't involve. So one thing my organization has set out to do is to help organizations tell their story from the very start and consistently. They go on your social media, they're telling your story. When they Google you, even if it's to put it on ChatGPT, when they put your name or what you do on ChatGPT, your name comes up. They recommend your name as one of the people that are talking about this thing, and I think you should check them out. That's the kind of work that we're doing, and it's called GEO. And it's been a very interesting journey so far to see that a lot of people do not know about it yet, the one I just mentioned now, but the few that are leveraging on it are already seeing results, because it means that you don't have to, the moment you throw out a proposal and someone wants to check you out, because people don't really go on Google to check, they don't really Google. They just go on Instagram and see who is on Instagram, or go on Facebook and see, what are they doing on Facebook. And if you do not have the right things put out there yet, you're going to look like you don't exist. And that can hurt all the good work and all the good intentions that your organization intends. So the challenge is a crowded market. Okay, Nigerians, where our tenacity is out of this world. So we have a lot of, we have a crowded market. And one way that you can deal with that is to stay consistent. Because honestly, what I'm saying now is not common knowledge. A lot of people are noisy. They're just making noise. And I'm saying it with all the sincerity of my heart, because they do not have a plan. What they're doing is copying each other. Okay, so they do not know why someone is using red. They don't know why I wore red today. Do you understand? Red is my company color. Red is my company color. Okay, aside from black and white. And someone may want to decide to copy me and go and wear red. They don't know why I wore red. Do you understand? So there's a lot of that going on. People are not able to work with experts and understand why they don't know what is beating the drum for the dance people are dancing. So they come and they just copy that. Oh, let's just dance. This is the style that's raining. Then there's a lot of low trust. People do not trust. Social media hasn't made it easy to trust. So that means companies and organizations that are deliberate about showing proof of what you're doing. Don't just say, I do this. Show us. Show us. Show your process. Tell your stories. Your story should not always wait when your stories are now, when everything you have done, finished making the jollof. Show us how you brought the raw rice, how you cut the onions, how you went to buy tomatoes, how you blended the tomatoes, and all of the processes. Take us along on your journey, because that builds trust and that helps you stay consistent. And the inevitable thing is that, people will want to work with you.
Thank you, Chioma Ezenwafor, for this insightful conversation. I've been talking to Mrs. Chioma Ezenwafor, the founder of Salt Tribe Media, a strategic communication expert who consult for businesses and nonprofits around how strategic communication and visibility works in today's digital world. For all our viewers, I think that this conversation is something you need to listen to over and over again. You cannot, the issue of visibility is how you are seen, how you are heard, how you are remembered. Without those three, one of the leg must not be missing, according to what she had just explained. None of this leg is unimportant. Every part of this leg is unimportant. Minus one of them, the balance is not created. And therefore, I want to say thank you for your session, for this insightful session. Thank you for what you do as Salt Tribe Media Consulting. And we appreciate the insight you have shared with our viewers. For our viewers, we want to say thank you. Thank you for always getting back to us. We also appeal that you get back to us through our social media platform, or if you have something to say that is unique, you can send us a mail at info@difficultconversationafrica.org. See you in the next edition, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to this episode. For inquiry, please send an email to info@difficultconversationafrica.org. Telephone 0809 591. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Difficult Conversation Africa. See you soon.